Let's take a look at a mathematics scale score and what kind of information you can find from this. This is kind of a general, how's your school doing? You can take a look at your students and see how they've progressed from one year to the next. In this particular report, what we can see is this school, again, fictitious data, has quite a bit in the green area, which this table interprets green being you have advanced with the dark green and proficient being the lighter green. Anything that's in a category of proficient and advanced, as far as state and federal standards, that's it scoring just fine. If we start getting into the yellow, which is basic, and then we will orange below basic. In this case, we don't see any far below basic. These are students that are going to need to get their scores up to be able to have their school rate with the numbers that they need to stay out of sanctions. So overall, we look at percentages, and we see that at the very top we have almost 38%, and of course down below we were fortunate in this school not to have anybody down in the far below basic. We can scroll down a little bit and take a look at this particular report and see how schools, in this case students, progress from one year to the next. The top line being last year, the bottom line being what happened in the current year for this particular report. In the case of Daniel, we look over at his scores, and he scored proficient in the year before, but dropped back just a little bit to be basic. And this would be a student that most schools would want to focus on to get their scores across the line over there. It wouldn't take very much more for Daniel to be able to reach over to the other side. In other cases, we can see Blake has gone from being advanced, dropping back a little bit to proficient. And though this doesn't count against the school as far as meeting their annual measurable objectives, it does show that there's something going on with Blake that you want to make some improvements on. We especially like to look at Marvin, who went from a 310 and jumped all the way up to a 367. And schools quite often give rewards to those students that make that particular kind of jump. And then something that's more astronomical is to go from a 249, which we see with Melissa, all the way up to 378. Now these results only kind of give you an overview of what's going on with that student. We need further reports to help break it down to see a little more what students are doing in each particular part of the curriculum. So we'll look at that on some of the other reports.